Welcome, everybody, to the new Zelda Dungeon Mailbag. It's Gooey and Nico here, and I don't know what's going on. Oh my goodness!
What is that?
I don't know. Something's going on. Maybe we should just try to deal with it.
It's one of those rats from Wind Waker trying to steal your rupees.
Oh gosh. Maybe if I give him some, it'll go away.
Get out of here.
All right, we're here to answer your Zelda questions. You've always sent in great questions. Fill that mailbag up with more down in the comments of this video. And we'll be sure to get to them. First question we got from Lovecrum. If you could listen to a podcast of any two characters in the Zelda series, who would it be and what would their podcast be about? For me, I would have Gorko and Shad, and they would discuss travels, research, and all things ancient or advanced civilizations. I think that's a really great suggestion to start with. I think that's really cute. My suggestion would be, I think you could have a show with Tingle and Beetle.
That was my answer.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was thinking they could have like a financial podcast and they could,
business.
Yeah, it could be about like, how to like live that 24-hour grind set, and they could come on, have other entrepreneurs on, and like discuss the their hustles that they got going on. Maybe give some
and the ethics of business.
I would love to see Nico and Gonzo having like this little ragtag podcast about how to be a pirate.
A pirate's life podcast.
A pirate's
like,
life, the podcast.
Nico is like the lowest of the low on the boat, and Gonzo is like, he's the dude that steers the ship. So it's like, it would be so funny to see the two of them. They're just like complete opposites. I don't know, like how to be pirate with Nico and Gonzo. I think all the pirates
should get in on it. It should just be
they
like
can have Tetra as a guest sometimes, and Link will just be on there like, yeah.
I imagine it's like they're in their cabin or whatever.
Yeah.
And they just got like one microphone in the middle of the room. Like it's a very like low tech podcast, but
welcome
it's just like whoever's
to
there.
A Pirate's Life with Nico and
yeah.
Gonzo.
Or yeah, maybe actually.
I'm Nico. Hello, I'm Gonzo.
Maybe it's really well produced.
Nico's got the soothing voice.
Maybe it's like a well-produced podcast, and the other guys are like the producer. One guy's on the board.
Oh my gosh.
Or whatever, and then they have the Joe Rogan fact checker guy who just like Googles everything that he says.
I would just love to have Tetra
in the crow's nest is the guy that's just looking stuff up.
Oh my gosh.
Zuko or whatever.
Yeah, we have
screaming down.
We have Zuko in the crow's nest.
My alternative answer, real quick, is a DIY podcast with Bolson and Hudson.
Oh, my little heart. My little heart.
They would have a YouTube channel, like a little crafting
they would.
channel.
Totally would.
Hey, y'all.
Hi, all Hudson here.
Today we're going to make a flower pot out of a boot. Next question from Plenilunium. Which Zelda game would you recommend to a newbie, someone who has never played anything from this universe? This has been a subject of a Hyrule Compendium video that we did years back, and I'll just start off by saying I remember us recommending Ocarina of Time just because it is like it's a pretty easy game, and it kind of eases you right into the story. And that was a suggestion also for like mainly if you were like younger too. It's like a good game to get like young people into the series. So it really depends on where you're coming at it. Maybe you're a gamer who has more experience or stuff like that. But I think Ocarina of Time is a good baseline no matter what. If you're a kid, it's simple. If you're into other games, it's pretty engaging right away. But there's plenty of other good answers, I think. What do you guys think?
This is something I've thought of a lot. I feel like Ocarina of Time is a really good answer, specifically because they tutorialize that game so well, and they give you like a little contained space to play around in before you get into the rest of the stuff. I think maybe Wind Waker too, just because that's not a very difficult game, and the first portion of the game, it's similarly like you do this, then this, then this, then this, and it doesn't open up until you get to the point where you're probably more experienced at the game and get it a little bit more.
Oftentimes when people ask me what their first one should be, I would say Wind Waker, but I know that that's not exactly accessible for everybody. So if you're like brand new to gaming and all you have is a Switch, I tell people, try out Breath of the Wild. Just play it. Like, so many of my friends found Zelda through Breath of the Wild and have now played a lot of the older games, and they love the series. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with starting with Breath of the Wild, as long as you can be willing to go back and watch play the older ones with that mindset of these are older games, you know?
Yeah.
Not even that they're older, because I don't think, like, I think it's that they're just a lot different
Yes.
too, you know what I mean? Like, so if you're
Especially
looking
Breath of the
for,
Wild, yeah.
yeah, if you're looking for the same kind of experience, you're not exactly gonna get it. Wind Waker, I remember we talked about just from the point of view of like a younger kid playing it.
Yeah.
It might be one that like might get boring for a kid if there's just like a lot of like talking in the beginning, and like I was thinking when I first started playing Zelda, like I couldn't even read. You know what I mean? So when Wind Waker came out, I was of the perfect age to get into it. But I don't know. I guess I wonder what other people think. Like, if you can't really understand what's happening in the beginning of Wind Waker, can you really kind of grasp what to do next? You know what I mean? The other thing that I would suggest is, if we're talking about, Nico's talking about accessibility, if you're like just like a gamer, you know, like an adult gamer or whatever, like you can read and you're playing this current gen of consoles, I would honestly highly recommend, I think Link's Awakening would be a great starting point, because it's actually, we talked about it on a ton of videos, but it's kind of one where a lot of that and like A Link to the Past, it kind of like formed like a lot of the formula of Zelda, you know what I mean? I think it's just like a purely distilled like Zelda game, you know what I mean? It's got everything's there that will like kind of shows you what like a lot of the series is about. That, and then Breath of the Wild, I would say those two, if you have a Switch, they pair well together, because they're totally the two opposite ends of the spectrum of the Zelda experience, you know?
They really are, but they're both such good ways to start.
Some of these are hard to do on the spot.
That's okay.
Like, I think this is one. 9709 Nick says, if you could have an artist or a band do a cover album of Zelda themes, who would you choose? What genres could be an option too? Obviously, there's stuff like that exists, but I don't know if they're thinking of like a famous artist or something like that. But I like, you know, I was trying to think of like who I like, and like none of it. I don't know. I couldn't, like, I read it and I just couldn't really think of anything off the top of my head of like any bands I like or something, you know?
I actually have an answer for this that kind of came to my
Okay.
mind. And it's not like it's not a band, and it's not like, I know we've definitely heard a lot of like rock covers and stuff of some Zelda songs, but the one that I'm thinking is Leon Chang. I don't know if anyone's listened to his music, but he actually does. He has a few albums that are basically like they're fictional video game soundtracks, pretty much, and they're super high pace, super upbeat, and there are actually a few of his songs that sample some Legend of Zelda sound effects and stuff.
Wait, what was his name again?
Leon Chang.
Is it Leon, or are you thinking Louis?
No, that's Louis Zong.
Louis Zong, that's who I'm thinking of.
I'm thinking
Louis Zong is also amazing.
Louis Zong would be a great
Zelda
answer too.
Yeah, he has that like that rap. What is it called? The rat.
Yeah.
What is it? What is that? Rat? It's not Rat Pack. You know what I mean? Good album. Anyway, sorry. Yes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But yeah, Leon Chang, like his they're called like Enter Bird World, or like Return to Bird World is one, and it's like it already has that awesome sound, and I feel like if he just did a bunch of remixes of regular Zelda songs, I think they would be sick.
Oh, I do. I listen to a lot of remixed video game music. I really do.
Yeah,
I do too. One you mentioned it. One that I kind of, that's why it's a harder question to me, because I think I listen to a lot of, I don't know, more rock music, broadly speaking. So like, there's kind of enough rock Zelda covers, or like metal, especially. I'm kind of over that.
Yeah, that's kind of why I was thinking that.
There are a lot of great Zelda covers though out there from various.
Well, Nate Wants to Battle has that one song. It's like an original Zelda song that he wrote. I think it's called like The Hero of Our Time or something like that. That's a super good time. And of course, it's like kind of metal. Like, I don't know, but I can't think of a band that just like stands out that I'm like, I would love for this band to do a Zelda album. Marianas Trench, that's like Canadian rock band. They could.
I know. Marianas Trench.
Well, their lead singer has a Triforce tattoo, so I know he's a Zelda fan. So.
Canadian band, Bare Naked Ladies. I think they would do it good.
Oh heck yeah!
What about like we could even get like Bowling for Soup if we got a Bowling for Soup Zelda album.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's it.
Yeah.
We've struck gold.
There we go.
If this is a great question that I would love to like I don't know. It's probably not worth a full video, but if I like sat down and like really thought about it, like there's some combinations of bands I could be like. Basically, what I'm saying is I could give a way better answer. There certainly are ones that I could think of. But...
Yeah, I'm curious what other people think though, so let us know.
Yeah, let us know. At Little Tolkienite, at what point in your life were you most hyped for a Zelda game? Like, just
I know.
Can you think of a time in your life?
I do know.
Actually, yeah, it's not even.
It was high school for me. I remember. It was summer school PE, and they dropped a trailer for Skyward Sword, and I was like, what? And I remember I'm watching it on my iPod Touch, and that it was connected to the school's Wi-Fi, and I was just blown away, and I was so excited for Skyward Sword. That was the most hype I'd ever had for a video game in my life. And honestly, lived up to my expectations. I love Skyward Sword, and I don't know. That was just one that like I had the posters. That's when I really started getting into like Zelda Dungeon, like chatting with people and being like, "What do you think about like what do you think Fi is? Like, what is that? Like, I need to know." And it was just I don't know. I loved it. That was the best time.
That was gonna be my answer because it's pretty much the same story for me. That's when I got into Zelda Dungeon. That's when I super got into the series. So I was super looking forward to Skyward Sword. But nothing unparalleled the hype for Breath of the Wild.
I mean, that's
was
true.
Like nothing I had ever experienced before.
Yeah,
you know,
that's fair.
Those trailers, E3 2016, like I consumed every minute of that footage, and just like all of us thinking about like what the game is going to be like. And
yeah.
Specifically because we had been waiting for so long and we got those awesome trailers. Like, that was definitely the most hyped I've ever been for any video game in my life.
Yeah. I agree with you there too. I would just say the same answer as Nico too. I remember that was kind of, if you start from Twilight Princess, which is like, I was super hyped then, but that was still like when I like wasn't really like I was buying games for myself. I was in high school, I think, or whatever at the time. But that was one like, oh, I got it as a gift. You know what I mean? Because I didn't have a ton of money at the time. So that's kind of, I feel like that was like the beginning of like a period of my time where I was like an active like super Zelda fan. And then like so then leading into Skyward Sword, I had kind of all the same feelings that Nico had, and that's when I was already super into like looking at the Zelda fan sites, but that's when I started doing stuff at Zelda Dungeon because I was so hyped on it. You know, I'd get on the Facebook and be making posts and stuff. And yeah, that's probably the like when that came out. I remember like I can like still remember that one coming out. Like that's one of my strongest like actually getting the game and like stuff like that, where some of the other ones I don't remember as much.
That's not too surprising because Skyward Sword came out in a time where the internet was like at its peak. Like everyone was like everybody was like, I have to be on the internet. This is it. This is where like all the major socials were like booming, and it's like Skyward Sword rode that wave.
Definitely,
yeah. So it makes sense that that's kind of like a core memory. The core Zelda memory for us.
Well, speaking of, so we have other great questions. We're gonna hold on to them. Send us more.
Hold on.
But I think with that, I want to kind of segue into a final question that I've written for you, because we were talking about the hype for Zelda games. I just want to say, because we're at the beginning of the year, what did you guys think about 2022 in The Legend of Zelda, and what are your hopes, or like what are you thinking this coming year of 2023 is going to be like?
The Zelda Cast just did an episode ranking the years of the Zelda series, and they would contend that 2022 was one of the worst years for the series. I think it was definitely sparse in terms of what we got, but we are leading up to Tears of the Kingdom coming out, and I think while 2022 didn't have a ton of stuff, I don't think it was the worst. I probably wouldn't even put it in the bottom 5 years for the series. And I think just moving forward, we can expect more Tears of the Kingdom stuff, because they have to show us more of that game, and then of course it's coming out in May, so I feel like we're gonna be riding that Tears of the Kingdom wave for a while this year.
You guys, May is so soon.
Yeah, it's gonna sneak up on us. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Oh, 2023 is going to be incredible. Like, sure, this year was dry. We got a couple really good trailers that we got to like super deep dive into, and obviously it's like a dream come true for us that we get to revisit the world of Breath of the Wild in a whole nother new game. It'll have been, is it 12 years since Breath of the Wild? That's what it feels like. But it's just wild that we get to actually like hop back into it, and I don't know. It's gonna be. I'm trying not to like. I really don't want to spoil myself for too much. I think going forward, I probably won't watch a ton of the trailers if there are more. I kind of want to just go into it knowing what I know now. You know, if there's like story trailers and stuff, I'm gonna avoid them. But I don't know. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited.
Okay, so if you could assign a out of 10 your hype level for the game, and like, you know, like, because we're talking about that, like how stoked we've been for a game to come out, what number would you give it?
Well, I'm thirsty for a Zelda game, so I'm gonna put it at a 10. I'll be honest.
You know, it's been such a weird cycle of promoting this game, and like we've had a delay, we've had, you know, COVID that delayed stuff even more. So I don't think I'm like edge of my seat, jumping out of my skin, but I'm at least a solid 8 or 9.
I'm like a 7. I was thinking like, and because it's one of those things where I know when it comes out and I play it, there's like a 99.9% chance I'm going to love the game, you know what I mean? But it's just felt like I'm thinking back to those other times, and like I was like, you know, ecstatic. You know what I mean? Like I was unbelievably hyped. I think now maybe I'm just older or more cynical or whatever, but I'm just like, okay, cool, awesome, another game is finally coming out. And I loved the last game, and I'm ready for the next one. But I'm not jumping out of my seat. You know what I mean? I'll be playing it day one, so you know.
I will say we've been very lucky in the past few years outside of the Zelda series with some incredible games coming out. I mean, we have had the gaming world is just full of so many incredible games, big studio games, indie games, everything in between. Video games are they're living life. They're doing well.
For sure. Even just Nintendo, like if you think about it, like Breath of the Wild was a launch title for the Switch. The Switch has had some amazing games since then.
Oh yeah. And I mean, recently, you've got Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Everyone's, you know, oh, it's performance issues, blah, blah, blah. It looks bad, whatever. I have almost 200 hours in those games. Awesome. I'm having the time of my life, you know? So, I don't know. I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying God of War. I'm playing FromSoft games. I don't know. There are so many good things that I understand that could be a reason why I'm not as stoked for a new Zelda, because I have so many good things already. It's not the only series I'm paying attention to. But I just really miss it. I'm sick of remakes and HD bullcrap. Just give me a new game, you know?
I'm playing Earthbound, so
Yeah,
there's a
you've
lot
been
of
playing
great things
Earthbound.
going on in gaming, which is another thing. It's like
I've been seeing people are posting about
You guys
Earthbound
heard
a
of this game
ton.
called Earthbound?
Earthbound is having its resurgence.
yeah. Well,
I'm
my
in
point
the middle
being
of
is
an
like
Earthbound playthrough too.
there's a million games out there to be
Yeah.
played, so like I don't know. I'm never like totally starving for games, and I know it sounds blasphemous coming from I'm hosting a Zelda thing. I'm gonna play this day one. I'm gonna love the game, so you know, not
Obviously, we're Zelda
Heck
people,
yeah.
but you know what? You got to broaden your horizons. You know, try something new. It's been a while since we've had a
Yeah.
new Zelda, but there are other good games out there. But gosh, I'm ready. I'm so ready for Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
play some Banjo-Tooie or something.
Yeah. Oh heck yeah.
I just played Banjo-Kazooie for the first time on
There.
Nintendo Switch Online. So
How
there you
that?
go.
How did you finish it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You were telling me about the final battle,
Yeah.
which is so
Yeah,
hard.
a
There's-
different conversation, but
There's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of great things going on in gaming. That's,
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah.
Welcome to the
Banjo-Kazooie and
welcome to the
Earthbound.
90s.
Welcome to the 90s. Welcome to the new year.
Yeah.
Happy 2023 to everyone.
Blink.
Nico, Corey, thanks for going on this journey this past year. And yeah, I look forward to Tears of the Kingdom and 2023. Bye, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers.
Clink.
Corey.
Get that Jasmine in
Yeah,
here.
Okay, come
There
on,
you
come
go.
on.
Okay,
Clink,
cool.
clink.
Clink.
You guys are so
Clink.
bad at this.
Beautiful.
We're
Tears on my
Bye.
face. Oh my god.